Hi everyone, so today is the final video of the Inspirational series. Shout out to 11 by 5 for suggesting this very exciting topic. I'm going to tell you how exactly reading The Secret helped me deal with anxiety, as well as just generally reworking those anxious thought patterns that feed into OCD. I had kind of three strands of anxious thought patterns. So the first was because I went to boarding school for the last 4 years of my school education. I only really became super conscious of the existence of my parents and my family when I got home during the holidays. And when I did get home, I was super conscious of them, to the point where I started to realize kind of how important they are to me, how much I love them. And this soon grew into anxiety, because I started thinking, oh my god, what if something happens to them? What am I gonna do? Every time my family members weren't immediately with me, I would get massive pangs of anxiety and imagine the worst possible scenarios, what could happen to them outside. The way I dealt with this before I read The Secret was I let these thoughts grow, and I kind of attempted to think through all the worst case scenarios and what I would do in each of them. Now, having read The Secret, I've developed this new way of dealing with these thoughts so that they don't grow. So what I do is, every time an anxious thought comes at me once somebody leaves the house, instead of letting it grow and fester, what I do is I quickly open my eyes, super quickly open my eyes, not that they were closed, but blink like that, so that I get my mind off for a split second, which is then enough for me to close my eyes again and sort of cap the thought. And what I do when I close my eyes is, instead of visualizing the worst scenario, which is what I did for years, I now visualize what I want to happen. So when my mum leaves the house, what do I want to happen? Well, I close my eyes and I'm like, okay, I want her to get home safely. I imagine her walking back from the bus to the house, opening the door, me greeting her, and I just imagine that happening. We can't tell the universe what we don't want to happen, because if we do that, we give emphasis to it. So what we have to do instead is we have to tell the universe what we want. And I want her to get home safely, so that's how I need to deal with my anxiety. The second strand of anxiety was from online communication with people. The problem that I had before this summer was that every time somebody read and didn't reply, I began to take it so personally. I was like, oh my god, it's an issue with my message. I have to reread it 1,000 times. I have to refresh my inbox. I have to delete the app and then load the app again. Oh my god, they hate me. If they were online and they didn't reply instantly, I would jump to the worst case scenario. And that was kind of very hard to live with, because it meant that every time before I sent a message, I had to think twice. I was like, do I want to send this? Do I want to risk being ignored? Even though it was just normal online messaging, you know? But having read The Secret, what I did instead was I realized that every situation that is in my life, including being ignored, I brought upon myself, because that's basically what The Secret teaches you. It's the law of attraction. What you give out, you get back. So if somebody's ignoring me, I brought that into my life. And the way to get rid of that is to visualize what I want to happen and to put my faith in it. And also to just focus on doing my bit, my job. My job when messaging is to proofread the message, make sure it's nice, put emojis, blah, 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 X's, and send it. And that's my bit. That's it. I can't control whether the other person replies, you know? Obviously if it's urgent, you need to call them. Cap the thought. Cap the anxious thought. They don't, when you start thinking, oh my god, they hate me, cap it. Just stop it expanding. And imagine them happy, imagine them being with friends, being busy. Imagine the good bits, remember the good bits from your friendship, and just think, okay, I did my bit, I sent my message, I spread my love. It's up to them to reply. So you know what? That's it. Before, I used to proofread messages 10 times, and I would go on Messenger even if I didn't have a notification, just to see if people have read it. What's the point? If they reply, you'll get a notification, you know? There's no point checking unless they reply, because all that does is gives you more anxiety. So I'll tell you something, I haven't checked Messenger unless I had a notification for the last month, and I haven't refreshed my emails unnecessarily in the last 3 months, which I think is pretty cool for someone who used to refresh their emails a couple times an hour, if they could. So I think that's great. And now the third strand of anxiety, which was, I think, well, this was like the component of my kind of social OCD concerning every single interaction that I have with people had to be like a positive one. And by positive, I don't just mean like a normal interaction without any like disagreement. I mean like, okay, because I was always an analytical kid, and I'm kind of good at picking up on emotional cues from people. You know, I kind of understand what they're thinking and feeling without them saying it. That I kind of began to really exaggerate that to unhealthy levels during my social OCD period, which was pretty much the last 2 years. I began to really exaggerate that because instead of just kind of picking up on their emotions and just, you know, normal body language reading, I started to really focus on how they were responding to me. And you know how like you sometimes talk to people and they're just on their way somewhere, like it's not, you know, you haven't scheduled an appointment to talk to them. They're just going somewhere. Well, I was like, oh my God, they hate me. Their body isn't turned completely towards me. They're not completely listening. They're not nodding along. They disagree with me. Oh my God, I'm annoying. Oh my God, that's it. And I said none of that until the conversation was over. And then when the conversation was over, I'd go back to my room and I'd replay it back to myself. And I'd pick up on every single mistake that I might have made. Like, oh, I didn't look at them that way, or I didn't say that. And then I would have to find them again later that day or the next day and be like, oh, I'm sorry. Remember the conversation we had? Did I annoy you? I'm so sorry if I did. I did that to every single person who didn't 100% agree with me. Which is a lot of people when you live in boarding school, because like, I'll tell you, it's a lot of people. And that would just tire me during the day. Like, imagine getting ready for exams, and then you just can't even like focus because you have like these conversations that you have to follow up on. And then I would make lists of these conversations. Like, I always had stuff written on my hand. Like, oh my God, you know, imagine that kind of trap. So I'm so grateful to Rhonda Byrne for writing this fabulous book, which doesn't even mention anxiety or OCD, I don't think. But I was able to use what she teaches to cure these issues within myself, because that was just wow. So it's actually The Secret and The Power to read both of them. They're so easy to read, literally, like, oh my gosh, like, they're literally broken down into tiny segments, so there's no excuse. And if you don't like reading, watch the film, which is basically free on YouTube, and it's just people, the people who wrote it saying it out loud with pictures and stuff. So just, yeah, like, there's no excuse. But yeah, I mean, now the way that I got rid of the social anxiety is I pretty much just thought the same thing. I thought, right, okay, I'm doing my bit. My job when I talk to people is basically to make sure that I'm a good listener, a respectful speaker, spreading the love that I have for humanity, not interrupting, you know, all the usual things that I do. So by speaking to someone, I'm already doing my job, right? I'm already like trying, I'm doing my half of it. So every time I'm tempted to replay a conversation, and every time somebody doesn't 100% mirror me or agree with me, instead of dwelling on it and analysing every single word that was said in that conversation, what I do instead is I just close my eyes, and again, I remind myself, I replay the bits of the conversation where we were in sync, and I'm like, okay, we're friends, this is going well, they respect me, they don't have to agree with me 100%. They don't have to, and they probably won't if they've got an individuality, like, right? So they probably won't. And I'm just able to replay those bits and think, okay, we're friends, it's all fine. I did my bit, I spread the love, I was respectful. Tick. And I even do like a virtual tick in the air. I tick this conversation. Because what Rhonda Byrne basically teaches is you have to imagine what you want to happen. So I imagine them agreeing with me, responding to me, respecting me. I imagine all these things even before conversations occur. So I'm able to go into them confident, and I don't even replay them because I already go into them confident that they're going to go well. So it's not like afterwards I have to, deal with myself. It's more that I kind of do the work before, the preparation.
What The Secret did for me is it let me use 2 weeks of my summer to really rewire my brain so that my brain is actually my friend now.
Which is a massive step forward. It's like a massive foundation for achieving all those other goals that I have. And it's just because when you have peace of mind, you can begin to really focus on what you're doing rather than what's troubling you. And that's just been life-changing at uni, interacting with people, in every single way. And Sahana, shout out to you, recommended it to me. I just can't even emphasize how grateful I am for this opportunity to be able to read it at the right time in my life and to take its lessons on board. So yeah, I hope you guys are having a fab time, and I love you all so much.